Hey there, internets. So we're going to do an extra video this week because I found good stuff. Something I haven't heard anyone talking about this week. You know who Larry Fink is? He's the CEO of Blackrock. For those people on top of who Blackrock is, you've probably heard of ESG. And he is one of the largest asset managers because he is the CEO of Blackrock. And he is one that has pushed ESG investing, also known as environmental social governance. Well, now he or others are planning to rebrand ESG because it ain't going away. You can guarantee that. Larry Fink says he's ashamed to be part of the ESG political debate. Now, to flash back, clear back in 2017, there's a discussion about how claiming that he forces companies to change their behavior, be more diverse in their recruiting. That's one of the places that really tends to show up. It shows up, but it talks about as a corporate governance. They talk a good line about how you're running your company, diversity, whether your board has real power, that sort of thing. Not diversity, transparency, that sort of thing with your stockholders. And of course, environmental, it makes it, even though they are, in fairness, one of the largest fossil fuel investors in the world, and he claims they're not anti-fossil fuel, they're talking, they want one of those things where they say, what are you doing for the environment? Now, they will portray it as being what are you doing to future-proof your company, but it's really about what are you doing to promote environmental initiatives, which don't always make sense, like, electric cars. And in 2017, there's a flashback article from the Main Wire that it has a video from Twitter that you can actually watch where he actually says what he says to it from clear back in 2017. And I will post that in the link in the description below. And from a Yahoo article I found from earlier this year, January 2017, he was starting to back away from it because he is the face, or it calls him the face of ESG investing. And this is where they get into stakeholder capitalism, where they supposedly take everybody, the regulators and the people in the community and the workers. It's basically another form of third way, which go research who lost World War II and what their philosophies were, and they call them third way, and they're really just another form of socialism, ultimately. But they term it stakeholder capitalism. And so there will be a link in that description below as well. So got that as well. But it was an Axios article that keyed me off here, and that's one we're going to concentrate on, which says Larry Fink is ashamed to be part of ESG political debate. And ESG is essentially like China's social credit score for your actions in your own personal life. Do you buy too much of something? Do you speak out against the government? Do we not like what you're doing online? And so then they say, well, you can't buy that train ticket to the other city. You can't get airplane tickets. I don't think we're going to let you buy those sports tickets, whatever it is. Or maybe we just won't let you buy any more meat this month. You'll have to sit in your pod and eat the bugs. Blackrock CEO Larry Fink said he no longer is using the term ESG, environmental social governance, because it's been politically weaponized, and he's ashamed to have been part of the debate on the issue. This is why it matters. How the world's largest asset manager frames its investment approach as a leading indicator of the market. BlackRock manages $9.2 trillion in assets. And this is what we're watching. Fink's latest statement is sure to generate plenty of controversy. I haven't heard anybody talking about it, so this has been kept kind of low. The backstory is their bullish outlook on responsible environmental, social, and governance investing is being blasted by conservatives as woke capitalism, and has drawn boycotts from Florida and Texas. Fink has been a major proponent of factoring in climate change risks to investing strategies in corporate leadership. Now, if you're just talking what's their regulation going to be, what's our future going to be as far as what we can make, that would be one thing. But not when you're trying to force policies. And then it says what's new here. In the conversation at Aspen Ideas Festival on Sunday, Fink acknowledged that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to pull $2 billion in assets hurts his firm in 2022, but made clear that last year his company's best with net flows of $200 million from U.S. clients. What are you saying? I'm ashamed at being part of this conversation, Fink said. When I write these investment letters, it's never meant to be a political statement. They are written to identify long-term issues and our long-term investors, he told the crowd. Except that all of this stuff is political, especially when you're talking the DIE cult, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Anybody who's got any sense in the capitalist system understands that you want to hire the best person, not the whitest person or the blackest person or the most Asian person. You want to hire the person that's going to work the best for you. That's how it ends up needing to work if you want to make money. But but when pressed on the statement later in the conversation, Fink backtracked. I've never said I was ashamed, he said incorrectly. I'm not ashamed. I do believe in conscientious capitalism. Maybe that'll be their new term. I'm not going to use the word ESG because it's been misused by the far left and the far right. They just have these all bold points. That's why I'll say it's under of note. Instead, we talk a lot about decarbonization. We talk a lot about governance. We talk about social issues. That's something we need to address, he said. Which means they're going to just rebrand this thing. And the statement conscientious capitalism, that might even be one that comes up. I would not be shocked. The details in wide-ranging conversation, Fink reflected on other pressing economic issues. Amid talk of his possible pending retirement, he says he plans to save for the foreseeable future, but declined to offer additional details. On artificial intelligence, he sees great promise for its ability to increase productivity and lower inflation. As a company, he is hyper-paranoid about its potential impact, and the company is aggressively studying it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of artificial intelligence. It has too much potential to go bad. He doesn't expect a recession, but anticipates the Federal Reserve will tighten interest rates for 2 to 4 more months. I believe that inflation is much more sticky. And that article was published June 25th by Axios under their economy and business section. But you flash back in that video, it says, you have to force behaviors, and at Blackrock, we're forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class at Blackrock are women. We had 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year. What we're doing internally is, if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation will be impacted. If you don't force behavior, whether it's gender or race or any way, just want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And they make investment decisions on this. In this article from June 5th, 2023, it said the flashback. That's where the 2017 video comes from. And their little Twitter video is in the main wire article. Where is it? ESG investing is a form of stakeholder capitalism which prioritizes certain stakeholder initiatives such as fighting climate change, championing diversity, equity, and inclusion policies while maximizing profitable returns to clients. Except we've seen exactly what diversity, equity, inclusion decisions can do. You can see how banks were so concerned about some of these mid-banks level banks that failed, so concerned with their ESG score that they wanted to talk more about their board's sexual preferences than they were about their board's experience or their board members and top executives' race than they were about the merits of them. In meritocracy, you're going to go for the best person because you want to advance your company. You don't want to let a good opportunity for somebody that can work well for you go aside because of something like race or gender. You don't care. So all 3 articles are in there. Ultimately, though, they are going to rebrand this thing. They will find a new name because everybody's getting onto what they mean by ESG. That there is going to be a new name. Watch for it. Pay close attention. Until then, probably should have something out Saturday. I'm doing the reading for it tonight. Until then, you all take care. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.